Ponytails. Read by Scribbler. Just a Taste by Gojira007. Applejack liked to keep things focused. It had always been the surest way she knew to get things done right. One step at a time, one problem resolved before another, one line of thought pursued from start to finish. No dithering, no distractions, just concentration and clarity. As the orange earth pony made her way through Ponyville streets, the stars in the night sky providing her the only real light available, that focus was all the more valuable now. The day she had just experienced left her no shortage of things to think about, after all. Twilight Sparkle, an Alicorn princess? It had been quite the shock for every pony, and Applejack only hoped that the coronation, which would be held at the first light of dawn tomorrow, would be as wonderful a one as her dear friend deserved. But for all that she was happy for her friend, and equal parts excited and anxious to discover what this new title meant for the former unicorn, Applejack found her thoughts kept coming back to another element of the day's adventure. The 3 little diamonds she had so briefly worn as her cutie mark. The specifics of what had happened in that time were still muddled for Applejack, vague and dreamlike to recall. But the broader feelings? The emotions that had raced through her heart like lightning, pulsing and pounding and overwhelming. Those the Earth Pony remembered with crystal clarity. She had gotten a taste of what it was like to be Rarity. To her surprise, and her shame, it had proven more than she could handle. There were, of course, plenty of skills Applejack did not have, things she was not very good at doing. There was nothing wrong with that. The farmer had long since learned how to swallow her pride and accept her limits. Yet, as the Carousel Boutique came into view, she knew the reason her inability to meet the challenge Rarity's cutie mark had presented held onto her thoughts so strongly. Knocking on the door, taking her signature Stetson hat in hoof, and holding it to her chest, Applejack hoped she'd at least be able to tell it to the pony who most deserved to hear it. "Hello!" Rarity greeted with a sing-song voice as she opened the door. The unicorn was wearing her work glasses, the telltale tape measure draped around her neck. Working on her friend's dresses for the coronation, Applejack guessed with a little smile. "Evening, Rarity," she replied humbly. "Hope I ain't bothering you none." The fashionista's eyes twinkled a bit as she led her visitor inside. "It is never a bother to have a dear friend visit, Applejack. Though I admit myself curious as to what brings you by at this late hour. Shouldn't you be getting plenty of rest for Twilight's coronation?"
"I couldn't sleep," Applejack replied simply. "Kept thinking about things. Things I wanted to tell you."
That clearly caught Rarity's attention something fierce. "Oh?" Applejack nodded, taking a brief moment to look over the boutique and its many glimmering gowns. Hazy images of tattered shades and boarded-up windows danced across the farmer's mind at that.
"I reckon I made a right mess of this place," she whispered. "And you fixed it all right up in no time at all."
"Oh, now, Applejack, darling." Rarity was quick to put a comforting hoof on the Earth Pony's shoulder. "Think nothing of it. None of us were in our right minds today, after all, and I would no more want you feeling guilty over it than you would Pinkie Pie's time as a farm hoof." That got a chuckle out of Applejack, one that helped her keep a smile as she met the unicorn's blue eyes.
"Fair enough. But thing is..."
She pressed down on her hat a bit, taking a moment to resolve herself, to make sure the words came out exactly right.
"Look, Rarity, I've always known you were a good pony and a fine friend, but I think, deep down, I always looked at what you do as, well, silly. not real work. And today, I got to learn just how wrong I was.
She slipped her hat back on, only to place her now free hoof upon Rarity's.
I just wanted to apologize for underestimating you all this time. You're as hard a worker as I could ever find, and I'm all the prouder to have you as a friend. I only hope you can forgive a silly old farmer for a silly old mistake.
Rarity's eyes glimmered with pride and glee, a bright smile spreading on her face from cheek to cheek. But of course, darling. After all, if Applejack, the most dependable pony in Ponyville, tells me she is proud of my work, well, one cannot ask for a higher compliment than that. The Earth Pony's smile widened just a bit, and both shared a quick little hug.
Well, thank you kindly for being so understanding, Rarity,
Applejack said, a yawn cutting her off before she could say more. Think nothing of it, dear, Rarity replied, gently guiding her friend back to the door. Now you go on and get some sleep, and thank you again for the visit. Applejack nodded, rubbing a bit of sleep out of her eyes.
Good night, Rarity,
he said warmly. Good night, Applejack, Rarity replied in kind, watching her friend depart with a giddy heartbeat. Once she was sure the farmer was gone, she quickly trotted into the carousel's back room, barely able to contain her excitement. There, tucked behind the coronation dresses that were long since finished, was the unicorn's true project. The gown Applejack had been working on when Rarity had come to help her in the boutique. Slowly but surely, being rebuilt under a more experienced hoof. Just a few more touches, Rarity said to herself as she prepared to finish her friend's gift. That was Just a Taste. It was written by Gojira007 and read by Scribbler. Okay, lateness abounds this week. I meant to have this fic posted a few days ago, as it seemed rather appropriate given last week's episode, but unfortunately time kind of got away from me. So I ended up posting it today after a completely different episode, so its timeliness has timed out. Talking about being late with things, I originally recorded and edited this back in August. I keep a stash of fics ready to be posted in case real life gets in the way of my editing schedule, and this week it did in a really big way. Multiple things happened, and I'm going to go through a couple of updates now, so if you're not interested in any of that, turn off now. If not, here's the skinny on stuff. First of all, update on Aaron. I'm not going to talk about it here because I've made a separate video for that. So if you want to know about that, please go and check out that video. Second thing, I appeared in a comic dub this week with Cider Barrel, who is a member of the Heroic Tale radio play. He's appeared in several of my fanfic readings before, and now I've been in a comic dub with him on his channel, so I'll put the link to that in the description below. That's a positive thing. Another positive thing is that Goombasa, my longtime collaborator, who you will have heard on many fics on my channel, he's putting together a dub of 4 issues of the Sonic the Hedgehog official comic, and it's called Pirate Plunder Panic, and I'm going to be playing Blaze the Cat and Cheese the Chow in that, and he's put up a video on his channel opening auditions for the parts, and they will go relatively quickly, so if you would like to get involved in that, please do check out that video. Again, I will link to it in the description below. Please go and try out, because he's a lovely chap, and he said the last time he tried to do a comic dub it was of the official MLP comics, and it kind of fell through, I suspect through lack of interest from people. So if you could help him out with this one, I really appreciate it. I've blitzed through my entire Skype channel of people that I thought might like to be involved. So if you're one of them and you're sick of hearing about this, I apologise. But anybody else, please send your auditions through. And a less nice thing to end on. Some of you will notice that my rather popular comic dub Angels vanished this week. That is because somebody reported it as inappropriate to YouTube, because one of the panels featured Rainbow Dash and Applejack in an Apple Dash comic laying together under a blanket in bed. And people felt that that was inappropriate, or that they just didn't like Apple Dash, as I suspect from all the anti-Apple Dash comments I was getting in the last few days of its life. But for whatever reason, they reported it. YouTube decided it was inappropriate, and it was pulled. And my account was put not in good standing. I do intend to challenge this. My head was a little bit screwed up this week through various other different things. So I am now, only just now, getting to appeal it. And whether or not it gets put back up, I don't know. But I just want my account back in good standing, because I don't think that that particular panel necessitated a strike against my account. Not with half the stuff you see on YouTube where people don't have strikes. So, here's hoping with that one. I hope to get another fic out this week. I hope to. We will see how this goes. In the meantime, be lovely to each other, and good night, everybody.